Volkswagen's flagship model, the Touareg, is a large luxury SUV that in third generation guise is smarter looking, safer, better equipped and much more sophisticated. It's luxurious and refined on tarmac and better than you might expect it to be off it. True, it still can't offer more than 5 seats, but otherwise this underrated contender has been hugely improved and now offers a very complete package.
The Volkswagen Group has been careful to ensure that this third-generation Touareg doesn't prioritise sharp tarmac handling to quite the extent of its close cousin, the Porsche Cayenne. Even so, it still gets some of the Volkswagen conglomerate's choicest elements of dynamic technology, things like a rear axle steering system and active roll compensation. All of this is optional, as is the air suspension system that we're trying here. With all this kit fitted, this Volkswagen's quite happy to attack a twisty series of bends in a reasonably spirited fashion, but you never really sense that its heart is really in it. It's much happier on the highway or cruising through an urban environment, which is where you'll mostly enjoy the commanding driving position and this model's quite exceptional levels of refinement. There's a driving mode system, of course, which, as usual with these kinds of setups, alters steering feel, throttle response, gear change timings and the ride quality, courtesy of the standard adaptive damping system. Engine-wise, almost all buyers will choose the 3-litre V6 TDI diesel unit that we're trying here, available in 231 and 286 PS states of tune, and either way capable of 42.8 mpg and 173 grams per kilometre of CO2. Off-road, this Touareg no longer gets a low-range gearbox option, but it's still more capable off-piste than most of its segment rivals. That's particularly if air suspension's fitted, and that's a setup that gives you a couple of extra off-road modes, which will raise ride height by as much as 70 millimetres. With this third-generation Touareg, Volkswagen design chief Klaus Bischoff's objective was clear: to shape the most imposing SUV in its class. Well, certainly distinctive, and now subtly larger too, longer, wider and fractionally lower than before. We certainly haven't previously seen anything quite like the way that the chrome elements of this imposing grille combine in such a seamless way with this model's high-tech LED lighting system. Let's take a seat at the wheel and survey a cabin that is, in Volkswagen's words, an interior shaped for the digital age. Or at least it is in this top R-Line Tech variant anyway. That's the only model in the range that gets as standard what the brand calls its InnoVision cockpit package. Essentially, this set of digital instrument gauges on a 12-inch monitor and this super large so-called Discover Premium 15-inch centre dash display, both of which join seamlessly together to try to turn the fascia into one big functioning screen. Lesser models get conventional gauges and a 9.2-inch centre dash Discover Pro screen. Either way, there's a classy feel that's further aided by the way that you sit more commandingly than is the case with some other large luxury SUVs, and you're surrounded by mood lighting, beautifully stitched finishing and a cool, classy Teutonic ambience. Enough on the front. What's it like in the back? Well, you'd think that the 77 millimetres of extra body length this time around would have prompted Volkswagen's designers to allow for the option of extra cost third row chairs. As it is, the previous 5-seat only format remains. Still, staying with the 5-seat format allows for a palatial level of rear seat space for the passengers you can take. Legroom's generous and it can be extended further by seat bases that slide over a range of 160 mils over a 60-40 split. Headroom's ample too, despite this third generation model's reduction of 7 millimetres in roof height. And that's even if you get yourself a model fitted with this vast opening panoramic roof, which floods the interior with welcome light. Let's finish by taking a look at the boot, and that's another area of the car that you might think would have benefited by the decision not to allow for a third seating row. The rear tailgate is power operated with a gesture control feature, of course, or at least it is if you avoid entry-level trim. And once it's raised, there is, sure enough, a significantly larger luggage area than before. It's rated at 810 litres in size, and that's a useful 113 litres larger than the previous generation model could offer. Can a large Volkswagen ever be truly prestigious and desirable? Well, the Phaeton never quite managed to offer that kind of feel, nor today does the Arteon. But this Mark III model Touareg is more comfortable without ever being in any way exclusive. Of course, to want one, you're going to be one of those people who can't see the point of fitting a third seating row into their large SUV. And we can't help thinking it would have been wise for Volkswagen to engineer in this option and then offer it at extra cost, as BMW, Mercedes, Lexus and the Range Rover brand do with their models in this segment. But, of course, the Volkswagen Group conglomerate has the similarly priced Audi Q7 to offer that. Probably they don't care which one you buy, but it was important that these two products should have their own individual distinct appeal. The Touareg now does, and we can see why the right kind of buyer might really like it.